Student of the Game podcast. All right, so check this out. We got a sequel coming out for The Joker. All right, the Joker movie that came out in 2019, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips, who we all familiar with as far as directing such movies like Old School, which is one of my favorite movies, and the Hangover franchise. All right, now for some reason, a lot of people are surprised or shocked that, or they feel like it's unnecessary to do a sequel to this movie. And if you're looking at the storyline of it, I get it a little bit. But here's the thing, people. Listen. This is what happens when you make a $1 billion movie. And not just any $1 billion movie. A rated R $1 billion movie, people. You don't get to make a $1 billion R-rated movie and no sequel comes behind it. Oh no, that's not how it works. I'm gonna tell you something. Was this movie one of my favorite comic movies? No. The reason why it wasn't one of my favorite comic movies because I wasn't used to the Joker being depicted this way. Because to me, the Joker always been like a criminal mastermind and stuff like that. And Arthur Fleck, the way Joaquin Phoenix portrayed him in his character, and I thought it was a brilliant portrayal. I didn't think that it didn't match the Joker that I came up knowing. All right, but I get it. I still, let me see, on a scale of 1 to 10, I thought the movie was a 7. All right, it didn't suck. It's not a movie that I would always rewatch because I'm not gonna lie, the movie it had a lot like it made me depressed a lot in the movie. Well, I take that back, not depressed. Let me not misuse that word. It made me sad a lot watching this movie. You know, not that the acting made me sad. It's the fact that it wasn't what I was expecting. You know, but I've watched it 2 times. Okay, one at the movie theater, and I went with some friends to see it at the movie theater. And me and my wife, we watched it when it came out on DVD. All right, but there are some things in the movie where I think, okay, I can see where they can go with a sequel. I mean, you had the situation where you know, he's at Arkham Asylum. Okay, he's there at the end. I believe that's where he's at. And it's like, okay, well, what happens next? I'm not sure how old Arthur was in the movie, but it's like, okay. But we know that Bruce Wayne is very, very young. Bruce Wayne was probably about 12 or 13. Something like that. But, so we know it's later on in the future where him and Bruce Wayne are going to cross paths. Maybe 10, 15 years from now. Okay. So I'm interested to seeing, okay, well, are they going to show us how he became a criminal mastermind or a criminal boss and stuff like that? I'm interested in that. But, in this movie here, in watching it, you know, I'm not a big fan of people picking on people. And that, I did not like how Arthur Fleck was picked on in this movie. And the thing about it in life, man, when you pick on people, you know, like, you can't expect them not to respond. You know, like, it amazes me how you have so many people in this world who have no problem picking on folks, and they're not expecting that person to respond. Or when that person responds to them, oh, so the person who's the bully, now they act like, oh, why are you doing this to me? Well, man, you don't start with people. You never know what's going on in someone's head, heart, or soul. You never know what they physically. You never know what they're going through. They may look happy, but they might be sad. They might be feeling sad or whatever, but they might feel something else beyond that. You know, so you want to be careful how you treat people. That's why I feel like, hey, man, it's very, very, like, you can argue with somebody, or you can debate or whatever, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You don't got to call anybody names. It's just that, hey, you think the sky's blue, I think the sky's red. Okay, fine. Let's just enjoy our day. We agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that. I think agree to disagree is one of the best phrases ever. Move on. But back to what I was talking about with the Joker. Sorry about that, y'all. From my understanding, when the movie was first released, it was set to be a standalone film. And I think a lot of movies say that because they don't want people trying to delve into the future. Because enjoy the present before you're looking at the future. Enjoy what you have in front of you. And I understand that because that's how I always felt growing up. Because see, what I don't like, you have some movies, when the first movie come out, they say, yeah, this is going to be first of 3 movies. And what they tend to do is they will, instead of including cool scenes or cool dialogue or awesome characters in the first one, oh, we'll save him or her for the sequel and the third one. No, don't do me like that, because nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. I want to enjoy the movie. And growing up, I always felt like that's how movies were. You know, it's like, I don't want to know the sequel talk until let's see if the first one is good. So I appreciate them promoting it as a standalone film, even though if they didn't really believe that, but I'm glad that they did that, because the thing about it is, you know, check this out. You have the same people who, even though they, like, for example, even though it was received as this movie is going to be a standalone film. Once again, excuse my kids, they're playing a video game. But anyways, you know, what I was about to say, yeah. Even when you say it's going to be a standalone film, you still had a lot of people on their channel saying, yeah, here's what they should do if they do a sequel, or how they can continue the story, right? Which, that's fine. I do that myself, okay? Nothing wrong with that. That's called using your imagination, people. But then when the studio says that we're going to do a sequel a couple years later, they talk about it, people are like, oh, they should not do a sequel. They're going to mess it up. Well, dude, you're doing theory videos on what they should do after that. So how could they not do a sequel? And once again, it's a $1 billion movie. $1 billion. Name $1 billion movie and they didn't do a sequel to. That's not called Titanic, all right? Because with Titanic, I mean, you could do a sequel with that. And I think there's been some unofficial sequels to the Titanic. I remember on Sci-Fi Channel, man, it was a movie, I kid you not, it was a zombie movie, and it seemed like it was based off the Titanic. Like, the victims of the Titanic, when it sank, became zombies. And I'm like, wow. But it's one of those things, how do you do a sequel to the Titanic, right? How do you do a sequel to that? All right? Excuse me. Hey, boys, y'all too loud. Thank you. All right. But, how do you do a sequel to the Titanic, people? How? But anyways, Todd Phillips, I'm a fan of his work. Now, the first Hangover movie, upon seeing that, of course, I didn't think there was going to be a sequel. I mean, when you see the plot of Hangover, you're like, okay, it's done. The premise of the movie, they was trying to find Doug. Doug. What tigers dream of when they take a little tiger snooze. I used to know that whole Doug. But man, anyways, all right, brilliant movie. And guess what? At the end of the movie, the problem was resolved. We got to see the epic Mike Tyson scene. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Yeah, we got to see that scene. A whole bunch of epic scenes in there, man. Brilliant movie. I didn't think there was going to be a sequel until I saw the trailer. And I'm like, okay. Then we went to the movies. We saw the sequel, and I did not like the sequel as much as I liked the original. But see, here's the thing: if Todd Phillips would only just did one, I would have been thinking, man, like, it would be so cool to see what those characters are up to. How's Doug doing in his marriage and stuff? How's everything going with the other characters in the movie, right? Ken Young's character. How's everything going with them? So sometimes it's just good for us to just think of these theories instead of doing a sequel, maybe. But anyways, I thought the sequel was okay. Then they did a third one. I did not like the third one that much. All right? I did not like it. I just wasn't feeling it because I'm comparing it to the first one. And see, the one film that I want Todd Phillips to do a sequel to, he still has not done. And that's to Old School. You've seen Old School with Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, Luke Wilson. Come on, man. I think, matter of fact, Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy. That, man, I can't think of her name right now, but that was her name. That she played in. That was the first time I seen her on screen. All right. So then when I finally saw Grey's Anatomy, I'm like, oh, that's the old girl from Old School. So I mean, how is Luke Wilson character doing? Is Cheese, is he still in jail? Or whatever happened to him? Did he, like, come on, man. Come on now, man. Jeremy Piven's character is epic. Like, did he, when he got out of jail or whatever, did he plot his revenge against them, against the fraternity who took over Dean Pritchard's house? You know, like, how is Speaker City doing? Especially with, you know, you have the likes of Circuit City closing and stuff like that. Did he survive like Best Buy? How is Will Ferrell character doing? Did he get remarried? Frank the Tank. Like, come on, like, but I don't know if he did a sequel. Would it have been like Hangover 2? Would I not have liked it? I don't know. I think I would enjoy it, but I don't know. So that's the same thing with the Joker movie. Listen, it did $1 billion. Would the sequel do $1 billion? I don't know. See, what makes it so cool is that, and see, that's the thing. The whole angle with the Joker, whatever, he took a different angle to it, and you know, and made it his own. You know, and it's like, okay, he did something different. And see, and a lot of people, though, the Joker, I think the Joker is probably the most famous comic villain ever. It's probably the Joker and Lex Luthor, probably. But I think Joker is more famous. But anyways, or maybe it's a tie. But watching that, it's like, okay, that's what I believe that's what got most people to the theaters on it. It was called The Joker. And then, you know, something with Joker is somehow it's going to affiliate, it's going to be tied to Batman, Bruce Wayne. And they did a brilliant job at that on that, all right? But man, a sequel, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit skeptical, but I'm not, they shouldn't do a sequel. Yeah, they do a sequel on everything else. And once again, it's $1 billion movie. Let me see. They're not going to stop making Avengers movies after Endgame did $1 billion. You thought they was going to stop making Captain Marvel movies after $1 billion? They don't stop. I mean, you're going to get a sequel if you make 700 million, 600 million, people. You thought they was going to stop making John Wick after the first one, huh? Yeah. Or after Deadpool. Deadpool made, 800, 900 million? You thought they was going to stop after that? Oh, no. You thought after Avatar they was going to stop? No. Some movies, they should have stopped. But I tell you what, with the Joker 2, here's the thing. Because the first one made $1 billion, and I do see rooms for improvement to where, all right, the sequel could potentially, on a scale of 1 to 10, in my opinion, could be an 8 or 9 or maybe a 10, depending on which angle they go at. All right, but because, see, that was an origin story. But I tell you what, I think let me make sure I'm saying this right. I think making a sequel to The Joker, all right, I think Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, I think they earned enough credit to for us, the fans, to give them a chance. I don't think we should be knocking it. I think they earned enough credit for them to give us a chance. Because you can't expect people to make $1 billion movie and there's no sequel. Okay? Listen, I'm a fan of the Snyderverse. Okay? That did not make $1 billion. Okay? It did not. Also, you know, another thing. Hey, a lot of people say they're fans of Zack Snyder. Let me tell you something. I'm a fan of Zack Snyder, but I'm not. And here's the thing. I didn't go to the movies to go see Army of the Dead. But a lot of people did not go to the movies to go see Army of the Dead. If you're a fan, I'm a Zack Snyder fan, but I'm not a Zack Snyder stan. There are a lot of Zack Snyder stans out there. If you were a true stan of Zack Snyder, that should have been reflected at the box office, in my opinion. And Army of the Dead did not make a whole lot of money at the box office. Y'all saw it free on Netflix. Alright? But y'all are stans. There's nothing wrong with that, though. But I do feel like, hey, even though a lot of people are saying, hey, man, they should restore the Snyderverse, the heck with the Joker movie. The Joker movie made $1 billion, people. So it doesn't matter if you like Zack Snyder more than Todd Phillips or more than Joaquin Phoenix. Guess what? They made $1 billion movie. All right? $1 billion movie. That's going to get a sequel always, no matter what it is. $1 billion, people. Tell me what you think. Comment below. If you're listening to the podcast, hey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that way when I drop a podcast, it comes right to you. But in the comment section and stuff, where you're able to check out the podcast, or even in the review section, you can leave your comments and remarks there and let me know, what do you think? Do you think that they should be making a Joker 2, a Joker sequel? And if they do, are you going to see it? So I tell you what, whether if you believe that they should do a sequel or not, are you going to see it? All right. And that's the thing. And that's the key thing, people. Whenever, money talks. And what they mean by that is this. Like, if you say you don't want this movie, but it ends up making $1 billion, well, that means you do want this movie. But part of you are going to be like, well, I got to see it because I got to see what happens. I got to see what goes down. And there's nothing wrong with that. I, for one, once again, I am full support of a sequel of this movie. It made $1 billion. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave it a 7. All right. Comment below, share your thoughts. Tell me what you think about the upcoming Joker sequel. All right. Student of the Game podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.